Too many rubs, don't know what they look like. Here we go. John Henry's Pecan Rub. It's a great all-purpose rub for really sweet in nature, so it goes really well like on some uh, fish, ribs, things like that, where you can take a little bit of sweet, don't want a lot of super heat. I picked this one up, the State Fair rub, because I like state fairs. I thought the food was pretty good, whenever I go. So I go, well, maybe I can get a little bit of flavoring there with some salt, some pepper, and some sugar all mixed together. If you notice, the granules here are a bit more coarse. And so you've got the peppers. You can see a much more coarse rub. Next, we're going to try Boar's Night Out Midwest Dust. Now, this one's great on beef, pork. Basically, it's a great all-purpose. Goes well on chicken. Notice here that it's darker in color. So, it will darken up your food a little bit. Just make it look like you've got more of a barbecue flavor there. No comparison is complete without Killer Hogs The BBQ Rub. And so that's what we're going to be looking at next here. This one, if you don't know what you're cooking, if you don't know much about cooking, just use this rub and your food's going to turn out all right. You're going to look like you knew what you were doing if you use the barbecue rub. Notice here that this one is more red in nature than some of the others, and so you are going to take on more reddish looking color on the food when it actually comes out. Next, we're going to go to a rub that a seasoning that's in virtually every kitchen, Lawry seasoning salt. This one you put in almost anything, and it turns out it's just a nice salty, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of paprika. I mean, it's the all-purpose rub before any of us ever knew what an AP rub was, and so that one works really well. Next up, we're just going to take a look at Heath Riles Garlic Jalapeno Rub. I've used this one. Now, this one does have a bit of a kick, but nothing too serious. But it's just the balance on it is pretty impressive. I didn't really want something super spicy, but it ends up that this one's good. But you can tell that it's still the most coarse one is that State Fair rub from John Henry. So just keep that in mind. Now, I also really, really like the AP seasoning from Killer Hogs. And, when I first started, this is what I really used a lot. And quite honestly, your food will come out tasting great with this. So I use that a lot. Finally, closing out with Boar's Night Out White Lightning. This is a really good rub, and it's taken over as the AP rub that I use on virtually anything, a lot of steaks. It just creates a great base layer without going too far in any direction. So you can kind of flavor and color your meat however you want to after using that. So we're just going to take one final gander here in a second. Look at all the rubs up close, as you can kind of take a peek at what we have there.